Welcome to Metaphysical Soul Speak, the podcast. I'm your host, Elena Fox. Hey guys, I hope you're doing really well in this moment in time, and that whenever and wherever you happen to be in this reflective universe, I hope that you're able to see the mirrors all around you. Now, I don't mean physical mirrors so that you can look at your reflection. I don't mean physically, although those are helpful mirrors. What I'm talking about is the mirrors in your life. And there are several different examples of this, but the first one that I thought of was the mirror of your actions. What you do in your life is a reflection of what you think about. So you might not be aware of subconscious patterns, but your actions will let you know what's going on inside your head quite often. And let me think about it. I haven't thought of an example of this, dang it. So I was just so excited to get this message out that I didn't think about what would be an example. But if you weren't not sure of maybe dating somebody and they kept asking you out and your actions were such that you kept forgetting the date and you really meant to remember, but you kept forgetting anyway, or they kept asking, and then you kept giving excuses why you can't show up, or you didn't show up, and then you make an excuse later, or something to that effect. Your subconscious mind is reflecting to you via your actions of forgetting or missing the date, or oops, I put it in my Palm Pilot wrong. I'm just kidding. Who uses a Palm Pilot anymore? But when you kind of keep putting somebody off, your subconscious mind is telling you, this is not your person. Because if this were your person, you would be so excited to see them that you wouldn't be able to wait. You wouldn't be able to sleep at night. You would wake up thinking in the morning about them and go to bed thinking about them at night, if they were indeed your person. So if somebody less than thrilling asks you out and they have zero in common with you, they don't have the ability to listen to who you are as a person, and you keep putting them off, there's a reflection there that you need to look at. What if you're not liking your job and you absolutely hate it, but you're ignoring that? Your subconscious mind will make you sabotage yourself so that you get fired. Not entirely a bad thing. I mean, getting fired, that means you get to collect unemployment insurance. Am I right? But if you're consistently late, if your alarm clock doesn't get set or doesn't go off in the morning, those are all reflections. Your behavior is a reflection of the reality inside your subconscious mind, where your subconscious mind is like, hey, listen, pay attention. You don't like this. Usually that happens when you're ignoring the pit in your stomach, or the gut punch feeling every time you walk through the door, or every time you see that person, whether it's the person you're avoiding dating or your boss or whatever. Those are reflections in your life. Your actions are a reflection of how you feel. If you are excited about life, you're excited about a project you're working on, and you stay up late at night because you can't barely contain yourself. You're so excited about something. And then in the morning you wake up, even if you haven't gotten a full 8 hours sleep, and you get up immediately and you get dressed and you bound down the stairs or through the hallway, getting ready to work on that project. That's a reflection of your enthusiasm for something that's more likely to work out for you. Now, we also are reflections of each other. We are mirrors of each other. So if you are in a relationship, whether it's a twin flame or a soulmate relationship, even a roommate relationship, you tend to reflect each other. Especially roommates. I mean, and especially also if you are a close-knit group of people that meet at a small classroom, for example. And this did happen to me. I've mentioned this a couple times in the past. It was weird. I would go to this school, and every single time I went to this school, after we'd all been in school together, it was like a year-long program, after about 3 months, and we became a cohesive group, and we were going to school every single day, or like 3 or 4 times a week. It was like pretty intense for a hypnotherapy school. And after about 3 months, where we were all, every day we get hypnotized together, we're working together, we all got kind of in tune with each other's energy. And I started noticing a weird phenomenon. We would all go and wear tan. And then on another day, we would all go to school wearing purple. On another day, we would all go wearing blue. It was like we all had the same freaking outfit, not the exact clothing, but the color. And I started noticing it, and I said to my friend Henya, I'm like, hey, Henya, look at the room. And she's like, what? I'm like, look what people are wearing. And she goes, oh my God. I mean, there were days when everyone had fuchsia. Even the men would have like a fuchsia tie or something. It was like really crazy. And then another weird phenomena started to happen after about 4 or 5 months. We resembled a brain. Where the right half would be the most creative, bright color, and the left half of the room would be the dull color. So maybe the people on the left would wear tan, and everybody on the right would wear turquoise. And then the next time, everybody on the left would wear brown, and everyone on the right would wear fuchsia. It was crazy the way that and no one figured it out except me and Terrell, my husband. We met in hypnosis school, and one day we were sitting in the back of the classroom. I'm all, would you look at that? And he's all, what? I'm all, look at what you and I are wearing and the colors we're wearing, and now look at what the colors everyone else is wearing, and look where everyone is sitting in the room. Like literally half of the room to the left would be wearing one color, and the half to the right would be wearing another color. And they were always reflecting what Terrell and I were wearing. I'm like, this is freaking weird. And after Terrell and I started, it's a long story, but after we got together, or we knew we were gonna get together, he would sometimes pick me up at my house to take me to school. And when he did that, we wore the exact same color. His tie matched my dress perfect. And that just freaked me out, because I remember in junior high, when I had my girlfriends, we would plan on Sunday night our outfits for the week. We would do our laundry during the weekend. We'd have all of our clothes clean, and we would all have this thing, I would call Larissa, and, Larissa would call Marnie, and, Marnie would call, Tammy. And we all had our things, and Shelly, she always called me. Usually she called me first, right? So it would be like we would all get together and we would plan and plot what we were going to wear, because we didn't want to wear the same outfit as each other or the same color, but we wanted to maybe blend together so we looked nice together. I don't know why we did that, but it was like one of those weird things. But it's really weird that as an adult, this automatically happened in a classroom that I was in. As we got more and more in tune with each other's vibrational energies, we became a reflection of how we all felt inside and of each other. And what I've noticed is, if you're in a roommate relationship where you guys are just feeling apathetic and unhappy, you'll start to you'll stop showering, and you'll start to reflect each other in the way that they'll be messy, and then you'll be messy, and then they'll be messier, and you're messier, and all of a sudden the house is a freaking disaster. You're unhappy living together. And that's the reflection of what is needed. Like your outer environment becomes a mirror or an outer reflection of what you need to do to change. But you have to decipher it and go backwards in your mind. When did this start? When did I start wearing sweatpants every day? Probably, mostly, the pandemic, when the pandemic started. Because back before then, I wore jeans almost every day, and I was going out of the house like several times a week. I even wore dresses and high heels sometimes, and now I'm like, I'm like shopping for sweatpants online. This is not me. This is me now, but it's not going to be me as soon as the pandemic stops, and we all get to open up again and go on out and about our business again. Although maybe will still wear a mask, and maybe that mask will have sequins on it, because I definitely want to be a little fancier than how I have been. I mean, the boring KN95 masks, they just don't cut it. I usually leave the house with Day of the Dead or masks of skeletons on it. I have one of skeletons making out. No one's coming near me. That my mask is a social distancing mirror. It's a reflection of stay the hell away from me. with your breath filled with coronavirus, get away. But your reflection is not just when you look in a physical mirror. And by the way, when you do look in a physical mirror, that's a reflection of your past actions and your past thoughts and your past emotions. If you are surprised when you look in the mirror in the morning and you look old and haggard and sad and your hair is unkempt and unwashed, usually because you just woke up, but you can look and go, well, that is a reflection of all the things I have been thinking in the past several months, maybe years. And if you don't like what you see in the mirror, there's something you can do about it. You can start taking better care of your health and your life, yourself. You start believing in yourself. And you can start eating better and taking vitamins and sleeping on time. And when you do that, I guarantee in the next 2 to 3 months, your reflection will reflect what you're thinking now when you change it all around, and you're going to wake up and you're going to smile at yourself right when you wake up. And maybe your eyes might have a little sleep in them, or maybe they'll be a little puffy because you slept on your face on your pillow. But overall, you're going to be like, yeah, I'm actually quite happy right now. This is cool. It's very true that you are a reflection of how you've treated your body. Your attitude is a reflection of what you've been thinking and how you've been living. Your reflection is also seen in the way that other people, even strangers, react to you. Now, if you meet somebody who's a friend or an acquaintance, usually this happens more with strangers or acquaintances, when you're nervous and you're afraid and you think they're going to judge you and you're afraid of being judged or confronted, or there's something kind of crazy going on there in your subconscious mind, but now you're consciously aware of it. Like, are they judging me? Are they staring at me? Are they going to say something nasty? Am I going to have to defend myself? Am I going to have to fight this guy? I mean, you might escalate it in your mind, a little bit. And especially if you're an empath, this is extremely important to know that if you go out and you're afraid of what the other guy is thinking, usually you're picking up on and you're a reflection of, internally you're a reflection of what they're doing inside their mind internally. So if you meet a woman and you're a woman and you think, she's going to judge me for my makeup. She's going to judge me because my clothes aren't perfect. She's looking at my hair thinking I'm not so put together. She's going to know who I am. Oh my God, she's going to know I'm a fraud. Oh my God. And you go through all that crap. Usually, it's not really, if it is coming from you, it's a reflection of how this woman feels about herself in relationship to you being standing there right in front of her. She's thinking the same damn thing. Usually, if you could stop in your tracks and go, I'm thinking these things and I'm feeling these things and I'm going to tell you about it right now. And I want to ask you honestly, God's honest truth, right now, were you thinking the same thing or something similar? Usually, dollars to donuts, 9 times out of 10, they're thinking the same fucking thing. And it's kind of refreshing and actually liberating to think that other people are just as worried as you are. In fact, so much so that they don't even notice your hair or your makeup or your clothing. And men, the same thing. You might feel like, oh, look at this guy. How does he rate? How does he measure it up? He must be rich. He must spend all of his time in the gym. My muscles aren't as big as his. I better puff myself up. Maybe if I stand a little taller. Maybe if I move my arms out a little bit, there, I'll look bigger. Because, but you know what? The other guy's probably thinking the same thing. Or the other guy's thinking, maybe I should have gone to the gym more. Maybe I should have, guys that are gym rats that are like super, like perfect, never feel good enough. They never feel perfect enough. It's really strange. And if you're a guy that doesn't work out and then you're faced with someone like that, the other person is thinking that they're not in their top form. Maybe they should have done push-ups or sit-ups before they left home. Like maybe they should have pumped their muscles to look good. Maybe they don't look their best. They worry about it. And they're probably thinking about the calories they consumed and if they were containing enough protein to carb ratio. Men don't think like, what is this guy really thinking about me? Without the other guy thinking the same thing, and then you guys get into your own head. This is usually how it is, and with men and women it's different, and it depends on, your gender and your, if you're heterosexual or homosexual or bisexual or pansexual or asexual, depending on the sexual dynamics, because there's also that added layer of what is going on as well. So you might meet someone to whom you're attracted and maybe they're attracted to you. Now you're going to be like, maybe I need to suck my gut in a little more. Maybe my breath isn't what it should be. Maybe my hair isn't the greatest. Maybe, and that's all this negative stuff that you think about yourself. But you're half the time reflecting what the other person is thinking too. The only reason you're standing next to each other is because you vibed at the same rate. And now you exist together. You're coexisting in the same space at the same time. And that's why the conversation is taking place. But you're both having the same neuroses. You're having the same reflections inside you of what the other person is thinking or saying or doing. This reminds me of when I was a kid. I was terrified that other kids would find out that we're not rich and that my family shops at Kmart. And that was like, the blue light special was like the most embarrassing freaking thing ever. And I always heard about it, but I didn't know what the hell the blue light special was. I remember when I was really little, like 7, 8 years old, the other kids would sometimes, what's wrong with you, blue light special? Like they would talk like shit to each other. And we were all wearing Catholic school uniforms, because I was in Catholic school back then. And we all had the same fucking outfit on. It was like so stupid. Like, how can you judge somebody else for we're all in the same clothing. We all literally went to one of 2 factories in Los Angeles that made the uniform with the exact tartan. It looked like a Scottish tartan, and that was our uniform. So how would we judge each other because she has Wallabies and those are expensive shoes, And mine are just Buster Browns, and my mom got them on sale in the summer, on a Monday, and maybe they will know, like maybe there's a sticker on the back, I don't know, that said that she got them at half price. I don't know. I was always scared. It was such a weird and stupid thing, looking back, because everyone was worried about the same thing. Even my friend who had the wallabies, Margaret, we called her Peggy, but her real name was Margaret. And sometimes people called her Maggie, but she was like the most popular girl because she had the most confidence. She had a nice haircut, and everybody was like, ooh, she's fancy. The rest of us had to grow our hair like one length. We wore barrettes to hold it back, but Margaret had her hair short. So she was like, her hair was like more curly and fluffy and it stuck out more. And we were like, oh, she's something else. And she always sat at the front, and she got straight A's. So she was like the teacher's pet. And we were always like, look at her. She's got wallabies. Because the only thing different in any of our outfits were our shoes, right? Which is hilarious. But I remember thinking, I hope that none of these people ever find out we shop at Kmart. For whatever reason, Kmart was like the worst place to shop back in the day. And now everybody shops at Walmart or Kmart or all the marts. Old Navy, if you're, stylish, but you're still kind of there at that lower level, of income. Not everybody can go to Neiman Marcus on Saturday and spend $1,000, right? Are they even around anymore? I don't know. Macy's, Neiman Marcus, Dayton. I don't know if even Dayton's are around anymore. And Target, which is what we used to call Target. When Target came around, oh my God, we were like, okay, that's good. That's better. It's better than Kmart. And Walmart wasn't even around then, or it was, but it was a different kind of store back then when Target was new. But I remember all these, it was weird how we all judged ourselves based on the place where our parents, it was out of our control. It's not like we could go out and make a lot of money and then we can shop at, the Orbox. God, you remember Orbox? That was such a great store. But I remember being so embarrassed about where my family shopped. And it's because some of the boys in the class said, blue light special as a kind of a negative sort of, you're poor, you have to shop at the blue light special store. And what's stupid now looking back, all of our parents paid $400 a month to send us to Catholic school. Or no, I think it was $200 a month, actually. $200 a month per student back in the 70s. That's freaking highway robbery. That's a lot of freaking money. And my parents always, that included school lunches. It included my food, which couldn't have cost back then more than $40, $50 tops. But that included, actually it only included milk and snacks, because I remember brown bagging it at lunch. And if I was lucky, I got to have a lunch box. So I had a lunch pail. Usually it was Snoopy or the Peanuts. And I think one year I wanted an emergency lunch pail, and my parents wouldn't let me because it was a boy lunch pail. They always made me go towards heteronormative lunch pail norms, which is also very stupid. It was all very dumb. But I remember thinking, I hope no one ever finds out that I shop at Kmart. Blue light special, what the fuck is that? I don't know what the hell they're talking about. But there were signs that say blue light special. And then we went to the original Kmart store. My parents went, they made it an event. They went with my aunt and uncle and my cousins, and we all went together as an event. And it was freaking massive. There were hundreds of people shopping in this massive warehouse Kmart store. And when the lights went on, literally blue lights went on inside the warehouse of Kmart, and everybody freaked out and panicked. And we got stickers from, I think it was people standing around with stickers that they put on. During the blue light special, we picked that up off the shelf, and it was like a freaking game. It was like a game of some sort. I did not know what the hell was going on, and I was terrified because my parents were acting completely crazy and they were off the rails, and I was just trying to watch my baby brother, who was literally a baby at the moment, and I'm like, what the hell is going on? And I hope to God, I mean, like, my grandmother and my mother always took me to the department stores, they took me to the nicer places, they took me to the mall, you know, but my dad always went like, let's just get the cheapest stuff possible and save our money and maximize, because he had to pay for Catholic school, which I didn't think about at the time. Well, I remember running into I think it was Peggy Cox, that was her name, C-O-X. I was so embarrassed for her last name. It was a different Peggy. It wasn't the popular Peggy. It was the unpopular Peggy, who's actually probably a popular person now because she's an extrovert, you know, and she always liked me, and I was always afraid of her for some reason. She was a much bigger kid than me, and her freckles were even bigger than my freckles. Like, there was something about her that freaked me out. She reminded me of Peppermint Patty. I always secretly thought that Charles Schultz somehow went forward in time, met this kid, and then formulated Peppermint Patty around her. Like, I swear to God, she made me scared. I thought she was going to punch me. I always was. She never did. She never displayed any violent behavior whatsoever. But my fear of her was a reflection of something else. I don't really know what, but I was afraid of this kid. Probably because I was afraid of Peppermint Patty and peanuts. You know, the lunch pail and all that. So I went to this place, and I think I ran into Peggy then. I kept running into her, you know, outside of school, which is weird, because I think that was a reflection of the fact that maybe if I had gotten to know her better, we might have been best friends. But it never happened, but I kept running into her in all these places. And I remember being afraid. She saw me. Shit, I'm a blue light special kid. Shit. And then she said, I'm not going to tell anybody. I'm like, okay. And she said, will you not tell anybody? Oh my God. She was thinking the same thing I was thinking. Holy shit. It was a reflection. We had the reflection of what these stupid boys were saying, what Alfonso was saying. And then we had the reflection of our own fear that reflected their fear of it. And you know what's funny? Looking back, Alfonso had a lot of siblings. I bet he knew about the blue light special because he experienced it, and he was so embarrassed by it that he made it a joke so that to push people away from the thought that maybe his family also shops at the cheapest store also. I remember when my parents got a promotion, you know, they made a little bit more money, got a little bit of a raise, and were able to shop at Sears. And then we were embarrassed a couple years later by Sears. And it just went on and on and on. And it's so dumb because these are like massive corporations with tons of money, you know, back in the day. Like, these were, you know, why be embarrassed to be shopping at a place that is actually owned by millionaires? It's kind of weird. I don't know why, but it is what it is, right? So if you're embarrassed about being in a place, maybe it's a sex clinic and you're there buying getting the free condoms because you're too cheap to buy them, or you don't have a job, you know, you're afraid to run into one of your friends there. And you know what? They're thinking the same thing. I hope I don't run into anyone here, you know, and then when you catch each other, it's like, free condoms? Yeah, free condoms. Dental dams, whatever, you know. It's the thing to do, right? And that's okay. And now we're not as embarrassed or afraid as we used to be, but I still think a lot of this reflection is still going on. So I just wanted to bring it up to you guys so that you could pay attention a little bit to potentially what might be going on in your subconscious mind. I was thinking about my twin flame and how maybe I'm not possibly good enough for him. I think he's wealthy and I think he's famous. You know, hopefully I'm thinking about the right person. The one that God keeps sending me every time I say, can you please show me who my guy is? And I keep seeing the same guy for almost 5 years now. You know, and it's like, really though, you know, does that mean that I'm going to be alone the rest of my life because my mind is thinking this, or is this really my guy? And I really think it's my guy because now we're telepathing, or I'm just crazy. One of the two. It's okay. I love and accept myself no matter what. And that's my reflection outward. But I actually had a conversation with somebody in my twin flames family who passed on. I said, I want to talk to a relative of my twin flame who passed on. And I want to know if you could check on him and see if he's okay. And also see, if he's really okay. And also if you could see, if you could just, what is he thinking about me and the connection, or is he not even aware of it? And the answer I got really astounded me. And the answer was, he doesn't think he's good enough for you. There's some unworthy feelings there that maybe, you deserve better because he's not as spiritual as you. And I went, oh my God, I'm thinking the same thing. I don't have as much money and I don't have fame. And I'm kind of, a loser. If you want to look at my bank account, you definitely go, you're a loser, right? And I don't consider myself a loser, but I mean, that's if you were going to look at my bank account and judge me based on the money I don't have, if he was going to look at that, he's going to be, but I know he doesn't think that way about me because he and I've had conversations about it. He's like, oh, don't even worry about it. I'm like, all right. And he's kind of an old fashioned guy. He's like, I'm the breadwinner. That's okay. That's the way it should be. I'm like, well, that's how I feel too. That's how I've always felt because that's how I was raised. It's not particularly progressive or feminist of me, but that's just, I still expect that I'm going to make my own money aside and apart from him. But he and I have had this conversation, but his relative came to me and said, so, yeah, he was thinking the same thing. And I'm like, well, that means I need to look at the mirror inside. If that's how he's feeling about me, that's how I'm feeling about him. I need to fix it and heal it inside myself. And I started realizing, well, he's more than good enough for me. Spiritual or otherwise. It doesn't, he's wonderful. He's an amazing person. I mean, based on the conversations we've had telepathically. And we get along so well. So, and so I was having this conversation with his relative who also told me, but he's not ready for a relationship just yet, but he will be soon. And he will contact you when he's ready. He just wants to make some things prepared first. And I said, that's exactly like me. That's a direct reflection of how I feel too. I have just a few more things to do, maybe just a couple more weeks. And once I get these things that I was planning on doing, that I'm in the middle of doing, I am doing this part of my life, then I definitely want to hear from him, talk to him, consider what he has to say for himself, and start our friendship and our connection and go easy into our relationship. And she said, he's thinking the same thing you're thinking. I'm like, oh, okay. And I'm like, well, how does he feel about me? And she said, oh, he kind of wants to put you up on a pedestal and love you dearly and be with you forever. I'm like, well, that's how I feel. I'm like, he doesn't have to put me on a pedestal, but okay, sure. That's probably what I would do anyway. I would just be like, and I think what she meant by that is he wants to honor you, respect you, and love you. I'm like, well, that's a direct reflection of what I want, but also how I feel about him. So, well, this is going to be easy. Meeting is the hard part. I have to wait for him to come to me. I mean, not because of the old-fashioned traditional values that were beaten into me literally when I was a kid, but because, I'm not a fangirl. I don't go chasing people. I'm not a chaser. I'm not a runner. I'm not a chaser. I'm just a waiter. I'm not a waiter in a restaurant. I'm waiting is what I mean. I think I would be a terrible waiter in a restaurant. I'm not very upper body strength. I have a little bit, but I think I would just be dropping plates left and right. It would be terrible. But today I bought the Gas Guy came around, and it's a really catchy tune that I hear every day of my life for the past 3 years that I never get sick of. I love it. And it's weird because I hate repetition. But I hear it several times a day, and it's just a part of me. And it's just talking about how much, it's someone singing about how much they love Cuenca, the city where I live. And this is an amazing place. So I love that song. Anyway, I heard this song and I'm like, oh my God. I had to run out back, make sure the cat is, outside. I had to shut and lock the door so she would be safe. And then I ran out the front door and the truck was already leaving. Like he was coming down the lane when I ran to the back. Like they come down and then they turn around really, really fast. And it's like really hard to catch the gas guy. But the gas guys, they drive around all day long in every neighborhood and you have to race and catch them and you yell out, "Oi, Parse," or whatever, and they will, perdóname, pardóname, necesito gas. And you have to buy a balloon of gas. You have to say in Spanish, balón de gas. Necesito un balón de gas, por favor. Please give me a balloon of gas. It sounds so crazy, right? But it's only $3 and it's this massive tank. And I could barely lift it when it's empty. And when it's full, it's even harder. So I had to do that today and I had to drag it. And I'm like, with both hands pulling just very barely, I could not even lift it off the ground. Okay. I don't want, I have metal rods in my legs. I don't want to have an injury. And I was just like, okay, lift not from the back, lift from the legs. And it was like ridiculous. I was like, oh my God. But it took me maybe an hour to drag it all the way across my living room and my kitchen. And to lift it, it was really hard to lift it, just that one little step down, and then carry it out on my patio into the laundry room. It took forever because I had to take breaks. It was so hard. It was so heavy. And I remember when I first needed gas the first time, it was like that for the empty tank for me. And now I can lift the empty tank, off the ground. So I feel like I'm getting stronger, but it's like, man, this is ridiculous. And my twin flame felt me. He's like, what are you doing? He's like, I feel like this weird strain that I don't normally feel from me. I'm like, yeah. But one of these things lasts. I mean, these tanks are almost to my waist and they're pretty wide. They're 2 feet across or 1.5 feet across. They're pretty wide and they're pretty tall. And they're filled with propane. Massive. I mean, if one of these blew up, it would be the whole wall of my house would be gone. As I have 3 of them out there. And every time you turn on the water, it sparks a flame and then it heats the water on demand, which is pretty cool. So I don't have a water tank here. But everything is about the propane. And some of it is quite dangerous. But ours is, like mine here, it's on the outside. It's on the patio. It's not inside the house because they can leak easily. But it was funny though, because I was running after this guy, "Oi, Barce, hola, hola," as loud as I could. And here in Ecuador, it's considered very rude to be loud like that. And then, and I was like, oh, thank God, because I don't want to have to call this guy and now have a conversation over the phone. So I turned and my neighbor she's doing the same thing. She was running. She ran and you have to. It's hilarious. I just looked at her and she looked at me and we just burst out laughing. It was we're both running after the gas guy. It's like a game. It's literally like a game. It's oh my God, I'm acting every bit as crazy as my parents did in Kmart, right? Waiting for that $3. I can't believe it's only $3 to, you give, it's $80 for the container, which already came with the house. And then it's $3 to get a refill, which is not a bad deal. So I have 3 of these, so $9 whole. And it lasts me, they all run out at different times, but it lasts for 3 months. So that's my gas. That's my water heating, my dryer, and my cooking on my stovetop, which is all propane. So it's pretty weird system. But today that was my big exciting thing, was running after the gas guy and finding out I'm not the only person. And what's funny, as soon as I stopped them and then the neighbor wanted something, 2 of the other neighbors came running out hey, I need gas too. We all ran out on the same day or at least we caught the guy on the same day. But it's impossible. I have had 2 weeks where I couldn't catch the gas guy. That's how fast he goes. And you're just racing out there and they either don't hear you over that loudspeaker with the song that everybody loves. or they don't care. Like they're just like, you know, and the guys always act like kind of annoyed too when you do catch them, like, all right, now I've got to do this. And it's like so silly. It's like, this is how you make your money, but it's just the workers, and they're like, man, you know. But because of me today, at least their boss made some good money from my block alone in my little gated community, my little suite at Ella. But, oh man, that was my big deal, my big thing today. The solar wind continues to flow today, and I had to take another nap. I was doing the allergy thing again, and I had another freaky memory, you guys. I had another really this is the second one. I had a memory that I was watching them operate on an ET, and I had to, and I swear, I really think I was part of the secret space program, because I started having these memories. And so I'm going to tell you guys as I have these memories. So, you know, some days we have the familiar report, but right now I'm going to tell you a SSP memory. Okay, so I had a memory that there was an ET that had downed in a craft, and I had to go to his bedside and talk to him about what was happening, because we didn't want to sedate him, and I had to keep him calm while they worked on him. That was a crazy memory. And he was not like a gray. He was, he had a really big head and kind of a tannish color, and he was maybe 6 feet tall. And I don't know where it was. You know, we were at an underground bunker type of facility. And I think that my husband might have been working on him as a medic, because in the military, he was a medic. And I keep having these weird memories of us. And I think we met before we officially met. It's all freaky. Well, today I was in the same underground bunker, and I had a memory that I had to use my telepathy to conversate with a little tiny 7-inch tall alien that looked like a little man, but his head was like a fly, and he had wings. And he had really big eyes, and he was very intelligent, and he could talk to me, but he was afraid because I was so big and he was so small. So he flew to the top of this light fixture, and he was hiding, and then he looked out over the edge, and he was looking at me. And I'm like, I'm not going to hurt you. Don't worry. And I guess he had seen in my aura that I had swatted at and killed flies before, and he was terrified. And he had big red eyes, but he looked more like, his head was like the shape of an alien that we all know and love, the gray aliens. But his eyes were red like a fly's, and his face was looked like a fly, except his eyes were forward facing, and he was staring at me. And he was really, really scared. And he could speak out loud in my language, but he could also telepath. And I guess I was supposed to ask him a series of questions. And they had a questionnaire on a little not billboard. What are those things with you put the paper on a noteboard, maybe a note. It's not a notepad, but I think it was a questionnaire that was on one of those clipboard. There we go. Thank you, God. I asked God, what was that? He always gives me the correct word. Okay. So it was on a clipboard, and I had to write out the answers that this being was giving me. And it was kind of freaking me out, but I was fascinated by him because he was so intelligent, and he had a lot of love energy, like a high vibrational love energy, which was really strange. But I woke up and I started looking around my room, and, here in my living room, and nothing like that. I mean, my room didn't look like that. My ceiling was white. In my memory, it was dark brown, almost like wood paneling, like from the 60s or 70s. Like they didn't update it at all. Like they made it one way and then that was it. But it was kind of like that. I don't know if it really was or if it's painted brown or what, but I think there's wood paneling in the room, and it was like an interrogation room, but they never ever updated it since manic. I don't know. Is it manic? What is that? There was like some TV show on like way back in the 70s where it was like all the rage, even in Bob Newhart, he had wood paneling. There was like all the rage for a while for people that wood paneling, and it was like they decorated like that, and then that was it. Anyway, that was my wild memory I had today. I was like, what the actual hell was that? He had like arms and legs like a human, like, kind of like us, but his head was like a fly, kind of. And then he had wings like a fly, and he could fly really fast. And he didn't make a buzzing sound or anything like that. He was silent when he flew. And he wore like a little tiny spaceship suit or space suit that was like kind of black and shiny, like metallic. And he had like a little tiny insignia within his language written. And I guess he had a very, very teeny tiny spaceship that he could go around in. But I didn't see the spaceship. It wasn't in the room. But freaky memory. They're starting to come now, like quite often. Like I'm having, at first I had like a glimmer of something. And then I started remembering that throughout my adulthood, I've had like moments or I've had dreams where I'm on a spaceship and I'm being taught how to fly. And I'm being taught the language of the aliens. And they're showing me the panels and the controls and the seat and how it connects to your brain and it connects to your thoughts and it's your energy, and waving my hand over a panel and it would light up. It was like a motion sensor thing, and the doors were motion sensor. When I walked through the doors, it would just slide open automatically, and the hallways would light up automatically. It was all on sensors. And I've had like over my whole adult life, I've had memories like this or dreams, and I wake up like, that's weird. It felt like real. Like that's like not a typical dream, It's not like you have a dream, you go in your friend's house and you see the refrigerator and you wake up and go, yeah, it's a cool fridge or whatever. Like I'm waking up going, I've never been in a spaceship before. How am I having a dream about something so like detailed? I mean, one time when I was in my 20s, I actually drew out the alphabet of this alien race that I knew. And sometimes my boyfriend would be speaking to me in an alien voice with an alien language. But he'd be sound asleep and he didn't know what was happening. And I'd wake up and I knew it was a message for me. And that used to happen quite often. So I don't know. I've been having more and more weird memories like that. So I'm starting to write them down. Maybe someday I'll have a book worth and I could write a book. Maybe I'll end up on the UFO circuit yet. I've always wanted to go to these, I don't know, guest conventions or the UFO weekends. I've always wanted to go and hear the speakers and talk to other people that have had experiences, with abduction or whatever. But it's weird that I'm getting more and more now. So anyway, I just thought you guys would be interested in hearing about that crazy stuff. So let's go to spaceweather.com and check it out, guys. We're still in the solar wind stream, which is creating, things like memories, but also allergies have been worse again. And also the, just fatigue out of nowhere, feeling just out of nowhere. I will tell you though, when you go to Spooky to Rife or any of the Rife frequency, things on YouTube, and you could download a Rife frequency app as well. I found the one for allergies for 15 minutes. It's annoying as hell to listen to it, but within 5 minutes, my allergies were better completely. I still had to take a pill, but it was a lot better. So the fatigue I was feeling from the pill went away because the allergies got better. So, and I'm starting up again because, hey, it is what it is. It rained like cats and dogs here today. I have about 20 pets now. Just kidding. Might as well have. I mean, the raindrops were huge and it rained hard, and we had thunder that lasted, like it would go across the sky from horizon to horizon, just boom, all the way across, and lightning flashes everywhere. It was exciting as hell. It got very cold. It was 58 degrees in the middle of the day here. Normally it's 78 degrees here, so that was really weird. We had just very, very cold. The cat couldn't stand it. She had to have me hold her almost all day. The lightning and the thunder. Normally she's not a scaredy cat. Normally she'll go out underneath the, we have like a umbrella over the table so we could sit out there even during a storm and we'll be fine. You know, we won't get wet from it, but we could enjoy the rain. And usually she sits out there, and today she didn't. She wasn't afraid of the noise, but she just didn't like the energy of it. And I didn't either. Normally I'm okay with it. Today it was a little odd. And the river is rushing even faster, and it's gotten a little bit higher. It's gotten a little hairy, a little scary energy-wise, just a little bit, like, 2% scarier than it was yesterday. But right now it's fine, and everything's drying out again. Even my patio started to flood a little. That was a little unnerving. I do have some stuff out there I had to move, and I've been here for almost a year, and I haven't had to move anything. And it's rained here a lot, and this is the first time it was like extra hard and extra much. So I don't know if that's what March is going to be like. They say if it comes in like a lion or something, I don't know, comes out like a lamb. What is that saying? Anyway, one of you will write me and tell me, right? So and I know that, they say April showers bring May flowers. That's one thing, but this is March. So what happens if it comes in like a lion? Is it like a lion that's peeing? Why did they say lion? What does that mean? Now I'm really confused. Some of those old sayings are really weird. Anyway, current solar wind speed conditions, 645.4 kilometers per second. That's how fast that solar wind stream is hitting us right now. 645 kilometers per second. That's fast. And it's just slamming into our bodies and our houses and the earth. And it is causing a minor geomagnetic storm. It's a G1 class right now due to the high-speed solar wind. It's coming from a southern hole in the sun's atmosphere, and we're literally making contact right now with the energy of the sun. It's very, very strange. The Ulu neutron counts from the cosmos, how we touch the cosmos, or at least how they're touching us, we're at 7.5% of the space age average, which is high, but it is 9.9% lower than it has been, and it's lowered in the past 48 hours. There's a beautiful picture of the emerald green flash that appears just over the top of the sun, sometimes, not every day, but sometimes, as the sun sets over the ocean. And this was actually over, the Pacific Ocean in Redwood National Park. Oh, yeah, I know where he's at. This is a picture taken by Mike Kelly on spaceweather.com if you want to check it out. It's pretty darned cool. We're in the middle of the solar wind stream. There is 0 sunspots, but one is starting to form. And there were 5 sporadic fireballs captured with the NASA All-Sky cameras and the All-Sky Fireball Network taken over the United States just today. So not a whole lot of activity there. DisclosureNews.it reports that the Schumann Resonance coming out of Italy was 11, and that's it, so that's not too much. 40 40 hertz frequency is the energy of the lowest part of the 5th dimension. So 11 is like, that's nothing. And HeartMath Institute, found at heartmath.org. Let's see, I had it queued up, and of course it stopped being queued up. And let me see where we're at now. we're a day and a half behind, so on this information. And I have to drag it, and it's like ridiculously hard. Okay, here we go. So the 2300 hour on Sunday, February 28th, this is where we were at around the world. In California, they were at 30 hertz frequency, and remember, this is the Schumann Resonance, which normally is 7.83 hertz. So in California, they were at 30 hertz frequency. Hafuf, Saudi Arabia, was at 63 hertz. Lithuania was at 68 hertz frequency. Alberta, Canada, was at 45 hertz frequency. Northland, New Zealand, was at 36 hertz frequency. That's the first time it's dipped below 40 in a couple weeks there, I think. And last but not least, Hulului, South Africa, was at 165 hertz frequency. All right, guys, I'm going to take a quick break, and when I come back, I am going to read you guys the tarot. I think I'm going to use the Mermaid Tarot today. And we're just going to check in with what is March looking like for the collective. What have we been through in the past month or two? Where are we at now? And where we're headed. And we're going to do that for Tarot Tuesday, right after this itty-bitty musical ditty. Hi guys, I hope that you were able to hear the cat purring clip as well as the ASMR tarot shuffle that sometimes I remember to put in for your ASMR experience and enjoyment. I don't know about you guys, but today has been a doozy as far as the death throes of the Mercury retrograde shadow period is concerned. It's been one thing after another. I've been trying for hours just to start the second half of the show. When I tried to shuffle the cards, Knowledge Ravenspell decided it's time to cuddle, Mommy, and you need to hold me with both arms. So I held her for about 30 minutes or so, and then I tried to open my hoodie to put her inside, just at least the bottom half of her, so that I could have hands free to shuffle the cards. Well, she was not going to have any of that and decided it's now time to do the alligator death roll with Mommy's arm. That's when she bites me and twists and tries to wrestle my arm to the ground, which obviously is never going to work. But I'm sure I am not bloodied, but definitely bruised now. She got very mad and insulted that I was going to put her inside the hoodie. She usually gets her pre-nap violence out, and then she settles down, and when she simmers down, she cuddles for a good long time, and she got her way for about an hour as she draped herself over my shoulder like a drag queen's luscious feather boa. And I had to hold her for a while, and finally I convinced her maybe, just maybe, she could sleep on top of my laptop, which is what she's been wanting to do for days. And I put a bandana on top of the closed laptop, and she fought with me. She picked up the bandana with her claws and waved it about as if she was a woman hiking up her skirt in the 40s to catch a taxi. In all the old movies, I don't know if you guys know what I'm talking about, but she did it just like that. I'm like, what? And just teased me and teased me. Didn't want anything to do with it. Knocked my notebooks over. Finally, she's now asleep on top of the laptop, on top of the pink side of the bandana. She loves pink, so I put that side up. I don't know what she has in store, but for right now, she is settled, finally. And I couldn't even open up the tarot booklet that's in my OneDrive. It's not even on my tablet, but I had to access my Google Drive, and which is basically a cloud, and it's taken me another 30 minutes just to do that. So it literally it's been one thing after another. When I was trying to lay out the cards, that took me about 45 minutes. I have Archangel Raphael is here with me, and they have, I say they because Archangel Raphael is definitely a female and male combination energy angel. At least that's what I'm feeling now. Sometimes I think Archangel Raphael is a man. Sometimes I feel like she's a woman. Today I'm feeling like a very equilibrium energy, both male and female, both genders in harmony. I think it's a good energy. And anyway, Archangel Raphael is not an incarnate angel, and Prime Creator sent this archangel to be with us because this is March, and I think this might be a sign that we are healing. You know, we're entering into Pisces season, where the sun enters into Pisces. And Pisces people tend to be very sensitive and very watery, which is perfect because we're doing the mermaid tarot. Yeah, so I just feel with Archangel Raphael, we're having that extra energy, the extra level and layer of healing, which is a good thing. But as I was trying to lay out the cards, like 1 or 2 extra cards would come out every stinking time, and I had to ask, is this for the collective? And I'd get a yes, and then is this one? No. So it's for me, yes. So I got my own reading aside from this one, and so that was pretty cool. It was pretty much like my reading for myself was get off my ass and do my things I need to do. Which I am doing. I am actually moving towards my goals every day, just a little bit. Maybe the message was to do it a lot bit. That might be the case. I've been kind of moseying about. We have until Saturday before the shadow period of Mercury retrograde is completely gone. So I've been like, well, you know, I'm going to take my sweet time. But maybe I'm okay now. But I feel like today was like that last death throes of this, man. I tried to access my cloud, and all of a sudden, out of nowhere, like 40 megabytes worth of information just started clogging up my tablet randomly. But it's not, I didn't download anything. It's on the cloud, so what the hell? Anyway, so I kept going around and around with it, and deleted all this extra information, and then it did it again. And then all of a sudden it said that my phone messages on my phone, okay, this is a tablet, it's a giant phone technically, but I don't have even a phone number with this tablet. I mean, I have my Magic Jack app, but it didn't mention that. That's the only way I can get a call is through this app. And it said that I have so many phone messages now that there is no more space to receive more phone messages. We're not talking WhatsApp. We're not talking Magic Jack. It just said the phone, as if I have an actual phone chip even in my tablet, which I do not. I have one. I just have never added it because why? I don't really understand Spanish over the phone. I live in a foreign country. I don't know. I mean, maybe I might eventually use it, but I just don't. It might be worth it for the free 30 days of Spotify, but it's like weird. Why would I even get that message? So I just feel like this whole communication thing, that's what's been going on. I don't know. Mercury retrograde shadow period. It's kind of kicking my butt today. It's so weird. Anyway, I've already gotten the cards laid out, and this is where we're at. So, take a deep breath and let's go. All right, I'm going to tell you what my impressions are of each card. Then I will tell you what the card says from the booklet that it came with, which I got electronically. It's very weird that it's happening that way nowadays. Anyway, where are we at collectively? All of the awakened ones, or awakening ones, those of us who would listen to the show, so basically you guys and me, and I don't know, anyone who's awakening, this is where we're at right now. As a collective, we're at the High Priestess card. This is an excellent card to be at. This means that we are aware of things in our subconscious mind. We are keeping an account of where we're at. We are in our virginal state. We're not feeling like we have to couple up, We're not like the Empress where we're getting ready to give birth to either actual children or our creative ideas. We're not there. We are just here at the High Priestess. We are sitting very gently and very calmly and rationally, being fully in touch with our subconscious mind. And the High Priestess, traditionally, she sits on a throne holding a scroll, and that's everything that's ever taken place in your life. Everything you've said, everything you've done, it's your Akashic records, and that's what she stands for. Now here in the picture, she's standing there. She has an altar. She's standing in the sea. She has the full moon overhead, which is nice because we've got a moon that was full just 2 days ago. And it's a very luscious picture. I love it. But, and by the way, I'm doing a tarot spread called the Celtic Cross, just so you know. That's the one I usually use. So, all right, I'm going to read the description. It says, when the High Priestess shows up in your reading, you can be assured the universe knows all your thoughts, feelings, dreams, goals, and fears. There's no hiding the truth from her, for she only deals with the energy of your soul. Don't expect her to tell you anything at all, however. She might see all, but she knows experience speaks louder than words. So I think that's kind of where we're at. We know where we are. We're completely aware of everything, but we're sitting quietly. And we're just in a process of observing everything. We're trying to plan our next move based on all the knowledge we have. That's kind of an energy of where we're at now. Now, what is crossing us? What is the energy that is in either an opposition or kind of stopping us from going where we need to go, or what is hindering us at this moment? And this is a very interesting card. We get another major arcana. We get the Hermit card. So this is kind of interesting because the Hermit is an enlightened being, typically, who is standing on the top of a mountain holding a lantern, and he looks like he's lonely, like he's just by himself completely. But the reality is, he's holding up the lantern for all to see. He is a way shower. He is a light worker, literally, holding up a light. He's done his work, spiritually speaking, that is, and he is bringing his knowledge to the world. Speaking of knowledge, Ravensfell, he's bringing his knowledge to the world. He is showing the world who he is, but he's also quiet, and he's observing, and he's waiting. He's waiting for the masses to catch up to him. He showed the way, he did his work, and he's watching and he's waiting. And I see this, and I feel like this is kind of showing that we all know we're stuck in this pandemic situation. A lot of us are stuck in our homes because of the cold weather in the northern hemisphere. I'm even stuck in my home today from the cold weather of the rain, and it's just been really miserable. I keep getting up to shut the back door because it's so cold in here, and I realize it's been shut for hours. And it just feels very, very cold and kind of bleak today. And the biggest obstacle is that we've done our work. We've sat here for the past year, like literally in 15 days for me. That is March 17th was the day that they closed Ecuador down for the global pandemic. And it's almost been a full year. I was trying to count how many days I've actually left the house in 365 days. Well, I don't know in the next 2 weeks if I'm leaving or not the house, but I literally counted, I would have to say about 15 days. I've actually gone outside or left the house. Well, I would have to say maybe 10 more extra days I've left the house and walked around, the little village where I live. But as far as like getting in a taxi and taking off and going somewhere, actually doing something, usually what I've been doing is grocery shopping or paying the rent. That's it. I mean, I don't think I've left out of 52 weeks, I don't think a collective total of 3 weeks have I left the house. And that has been an obstacle. I can't believe this is how we live now. And I hope it's not how we live forever. I think this is just a temporary, but albeit very freaking long temporary situation. So we know who we are. We know where we've been. We know our own subconscious minds by now, as it's been a whole freaking year. And here's what's crossing us is this Hermit card, because we've learned a lot. And now we're standing on the top of the mountain going, hey guys, wake the hell up already. We got some things to talk about. And our obstacle, I think, is that waiting period. The fact that we've been physically stuck inside waiting, but also we're waiting for the rest of the world to finally catch up and wake up so that we can have more time. I just feel like this is kind of where we're at, Let's see here. I'm trying to find this card so I could look at the... This is a really freaky card. It's like, instead of a merman, it's a man with the lower half of him is an octopus. It's like so freaky. It's such a freaky photo. But I think I'm going to try to take better pictures of these for my Instagram, which, by the way, is at mermaidgirl888. I thought I mentioned that since we're looking at the Mermaid Tarot. So this is what the description it says from the book. The Hermit teaches us that there is a big difference between being alone and being lonely. And we all need alone time. I don't think we need any more. Unless you're stuck in quarantine with like a 3-year-old, because then you definitely do. A time when or where we can find a space that's inhabited just by us. Space where nothing and nobody can disturb us. A place where the only voice we hear is our own. For as the hermit knows only too well until we close the door, walk away, and shut out the noise, we cannot truly discern which part of the story is ours and which part is best left for others to play. So, and that kind of goes hand in hand with the High Priestess when you think about it. So this is all pretty interesting. Those are two good cards to get together for sure. And so we have the High Priestess as card number 2, and the Hermit is card number 9. And 2 also is a number for twin flames, by the way. And yeah, so 9. And 2 plus 9 also adds up to 2. In numerology, if you break it back down again, adds up to 11, which is also referring to the twin flames. So if you are a twin flame and you are incarnate right now, these 2 cards kind of show that we've all been working on ourselves very, very hard. And we're very close to reunion with our twin, if that's what we are waiting for. By the way, on a side note, this is not a love or romantic reading any way, shape, or form, but it's just kind of an addendum when I noticed that just now. Like, oh yeah, all right, here we go. Something else to know. Now, what is the foundation upon which all of this rests? So let's see where we're at here. This book is that I'm accessing online is 290 pages long. So I have to scroll through so many. It's a really beautiful booklet, but it's actually like a book, honestly. No wonder I had to access it online instead of them. I mean, it was like, it would have been as thick as the tarot deck itself. Not that I'm complaining, it's actually really beautiful, but I have to scroll through all this stuff. So, all right, let's see where we at. I just scrolled too far now. 4 of Wands is our resting place, our foundation. Also has a full moon in the card. So that's very interesting. Not all of these have a full moon. In fact, most of these cards don't even have a moon at all in the cards. So it's interesting. This is our foundation is underneath the High Priestess with a full moon. Very interesting. So, okay. All right. Oh, that was a Page of Wands. That's why I scrolled down. Okay. The Page of Wands looks like the One of Wands. All right. Uh-oh. There's like 3 or 4 pages for each book. I mean, for each, it's for each card. Each card is like a book. This is a very romantic card. I love it. It's so beautiful. It's like a couple underneath a little awning thing, and they have a picnic and they're cuddling on the beach, overlooking the full moon and a volcano. It's very, very kind of a sexy card. But our foundation is this. It looks like a twin flame union or union within yourself. I think you're male and female. And when you look at above, we've got the Hermit, which is male, and the High Priestess, which is female. So it looks like some integration has taken place inside of us. Both genders are inside us, of course. I'm not talking outward physical body gender, but and not even identification when it comes to physical gender, but the balance and the androgyny that we all have inside of us, because we all have male and female aspects, and it looks like everything is coming together in a way in which we are absolutely integrating everything, all these energies. And the 4 of Wands, 4 is quite a so this is interesting too, actually, because 4 also relates to the Emperor, which is a male energy, and what's above us is the World card, which is card 21, and 2 plus 1 equals 3, which also relates back to the Empress. So we have the Emperor and the Empress hidden in this. They're not in this reading, but they're hidden. And that's also male and female, which points to the fact that we are fully integrating who we are, male and female. And that's what this whole past year has been about. It's been about integrating all the aspects and parts of ourselves and accepting the maleness within and accepting the femaleness within, regardless of what our gender is doing, physically. This is an emotional and spiritual energy, okay? So the Four of Wands says it forms a square offer. I'm sorry, the four wands that form a square, offer you strength and stability. And this is our foundation, strength and stability. Your manifesting has paid off and things are finally coming together. This card brings with it the first sightings of results. The prizes in the physical world that you have been slowly creating in your inner world. And that's, I think, because of the integration. By taking a moment to absorb this small but significant phase, you will allow yourself to create even more of what you already have. So that's our foundation. That's pretty intense. We've been learning how to manifest over the past year. So what's above us is the World card. We'll read that one before we go to the Swords, which is our past. So our foundation is stability and strength. And where's that going to lead? But to the world. That's pretty intense. So, okay. Oh, and I went way too far. I scrolled way too far suddenly. This is always an adventure. So the World card is pretty much where we've integrated everything. And this is a message directly from our higher self, by the way. So the World card reminds us of the cyclic nature of our existence. Where something ends, something else begins. We all end and begin in the same place. Ultimately, we never go anywhere. Yeah, because this is a big fat world of illusion. We're in the Matrix. We've never left home. Because we're God. We're all itty bitty bits and pieces and shards. And some of us are sharts, but we're not going to talk about that. We're itty bitty pieces of the one light. And we never really left home. We just have this illusion as if we did. And that's what this integration has been about, to realize that who we are, our divine light that shines within us. Something in your life might have come to a natural end recently, but it is not the end you need to be focused on. It is what has been created because something has come full circle. And it feels like we have come full circle. The quarantine around the world, everyone in the world, and here's the World card. We've come full circle. Everyone in the whole wide world has been under quarantine lockdown for one full year. I don't know about you, but you guys, I'm getting chills, actually chills. Literally chills. I feel like I've got to put my hoodie up. I'm going to do that right now because I am getting chills. Not to mention that this beautiful mermaid in this card is a redhead like me, and that's also giving me chills. Oh my God. I mean, you can't make this stuff up. This is pretty cool. This is pretty cool. All right, so what did we leave behind us? In the past 2 to 3 months, what have we let go of, or what's going on there? That card is the Seven of Swords. Now, I'm not going to read you the mythology of the cards of the mermaids because it's like, but it was interesting. It said, well, the humans found their way into the mermaid's land. And it's like, what does it have to do with the collective? It's just, so it's kind of fun, like the way that they made this into like a whole story or whatever. But oh my God, I turned right to it. Oh, see, that's giving me the chills. And it shows these mermen, and they've come upon a crate of swords that were dumped there accidentally by man. And they're in like these glacier fields in the ocean. It's like such a trippy card. It's really, really trippy. These cards are really fun. They're really trippy. Okay. So what does this card mean? So what did we leave behind? Keep that in mind as I read this passage here. Ideas, thoughts, and beliefs are not often something we think about owning. Yes, yet we spend an awful amount of energy building our lives around the ideas and beliefs of others. The Seven of Swords asks you to think about what ideas, thoughts, and beliefs serve you. Which ones add to your life and the lives of those around you? Which ones should you give back? Not everything is ours. Not everything should be kept. Take what you need and leave the rest for someone who will benefit from it. So when you look at this card, when I look at this card, I see that, swords laying around, that could be dangerous, right? So this could be some of the thoughts that we've held about ourselves, that we believed, the stories that we told ourselves, the thoughts and the lies and the secrets that we've all dumped. We've let go of it already. That's in our past. This is the card in the position of the past. We have let all this shit go. That's why we're able to sit quietly on the throne of the high priestess. And our only obstacle is that we're here alone. We've done it on our own. We've done it alone. We've integrated male and female. We're now gaining the world. And our higher selves say, you have gained the world with your knowledge. I say knowledge, and she starts to wake up. By the way, name of the cat, knowledge. All right. But this is where we're at, and our foundation is that of stability and strength and love and perfect combined unity and harmony. Oh my God, my sinuses are acting up again. Harmony. And this is like our male and female, our masculine and feminine, our divine birthright inside of us. Stable, balanced, harmonized. We've let go of our beliefs and we're gaining the world. And now what's in front of us? What's in front of us, guys, is the Two of Wands. So we're going to go find that card. So the Two of Wands. This is a merman, and he's coming up out of the ocean. He has a wand on either side, and he's in the middle of that, kind of balanced and poised while he watches the volcano go off. This is what's going to happen in the next 2 to 3 weeks. Doesn't mean there's going to be a volcano going off. Although, any given moment on this planet, there's always 20 minimum going off. But I'm seeing that there might be a collective decision between, do we want to live in the world of chaos, which would be the volcano going off, or do we want to live in the world of peace and harmony and balance, where we're kind of poised right now? We're in harmony with our environment, our nature. It just feels like where we're at now to me, So what does it say for the card in the booklet? It says, you have felt the power and energy of the wands, but now you are discovering that it comes with a high level of risk. Now you have a choice to make. You will rise to the occasion and take this new adventure or idea to the next level. Well, that's interesting, because what did we leave behind? All the ideas that didn't work. So what's coming up is we're going to take our new ideas, and that's true. I always think of wands as a decision, but that's actually swords. So two of wands, it could be two ideas. You might be vacillating between two ideas, but when I look at this, I see the chaos and the volcano going off, as well as where we're here stuck. We're either stuck or we're not stuck, but maybe we have two things to think about. We might have two things, ideas, creations. Maybe we're going to vacillate between two businesses, two career ideas, two options for our life. Maybe we could run with both, but we have to go cautiously. If we go too fast, we'll run into the volcano. You'll see the picture when I send it to you guys. So let me see what else does it say for the card here. Will you be able to take your new adventure and idea to the next level? I think I will be able to. Will you guys be able to? I think we should. I think we should be able to. So it says, or will you take your current buzz and be satisfied with the small rush that the Ace of Wands gave you? Now that's interesting. That says the Ace of Wands. Because that's the beginning of something. So this implies that we already had one thing that pushed us and propelled us forth, a really good idea, but this is how we're going to run, is with the two wands in our hands. It says, just know that if you decide to take a risk, you will have to be like the Mer warrior and step into the energy as if it were a spiritual practice full of devotion and honor. Well, that kind of goes along, the energy of that little passage does go along with what we've been going through. It's all spiritual. So I think we are given a gift. And you know what, now that I've read that and I look at this more, I think that the idea and the engines of creation that are pulling us and propelling us forward. What would one wand be? It's our idea and creation. What's the other wand? It is the divine light and the creation of the universe energy, guiding us, pulling us, propelling us forward. It's both in front of us as well as behind us. And I feel like we are completely supported by the universe. So if you have any ideas of what you want to do with your life, begin it in the next 2 to 3 weeks. Remember, the shadow period of Mercury retrograde ends Saturday, so just start it this week. And there we go. So, all right, where are we at? I'm going to look at the time here. Yeah, we got plenty of time. Okay, so the Queen of Swords is what I got for how do we view ourselves collectively. Now, I think we got this card before. She reminds me of my friend Amber. She looks a lot like my friend Amber, actually. I wonder if Amber did not pose for this. When I look at it, it's like, someone has a picture of Amber somewhere. This looks just like my friend Amber, except Amber, of course, was a redhead, and the Queen of Swords, as a mermaid, has white hair that has highlights of green and blue. It's a pretty wild card, but she looks a lot like my friend Amber. Anyway, the big busty Amber, she and I, we literally looked like mother and daughter. It was pretty crazy. People always believed it when we said we were related. It was pretty awesome. But yeah, Queen of Swords. So it looks like we've cut away all of the crap in our lives, basically. When you look at the other swords card we have in the reading, the only other sword card in this whole reading is the Seven of Swords, which is like basically all the lies and the beliefs. And this could be, by the way, lies and beliefs and energy and information spewed by other people, just dumped on us, just left in our territory, and it's stuff that we either believed or didn't believe. All the QAnon crap that people, some of it sounded feasible, right? And a lot of us were like, well, I don't know. Is that a theory that's real? I don't know. You know, all the conspiracy theories, all the crap, all the lies. So some of this stuff was dumped on our doorstep, and a lot of it we swept back into the street. It's over. We don't believe that shit, you know? No, that's not real. But it's our own stuff, but also I think it's stuff that people are throwing our way. Now, when I look at the Queen of Swords, this is a really intense card, and I just feel like she's saying, you know what? I know myself, and I know the truth, and my sword will cut through the crap of anything. You know, I'm a warrior, and yet I am standing in my own divine power. That's what I see when I see this card. I feel like she's very much in her power. So let me go down to the Suit of Swords here and see where we're at as far as the Queen of Swords is concerned. Let's see here. Almost there. Almost there. All right. This is a gorgeous card. Oh my God. Oh, I love this. Okay. So it's represented by the Snow Queen in this card. And so she's maybe living in the Arctic if she's a real mermaid, right? The Snow Queen governs some of the most extreme territories in the world. Conditions are very rarely favorable, yet she must get on with her job. So that's how we see ourselves. Like, we are in a formidable freaking world. It's formidable. It's freaking hostile. It's a hostile environment, but we have to get on with it. So regardless of her harsh environment, others still look to her for guidance and leadership. That's how we view ourselves right now, guys. We are the guidance and the leadership that other people want and need. Because we're the ones that are awakened and awakening. Doesn't mean that we're spiritual masters. We're not ascended masters yet, but we are at least awakened enough where we're providing the leadership and the guidance for those who are unawakened and unenlightened and unillumined. So it says, she needs to keep her mind focused and her decisions swift. You may find you're walking in the footsteps of the Snow Queen right now. Your situation may not be ideal, and it may seem like everything is against you, but you have to keep going. Others are depending on you to stay the course and lead the way. So even though we know the ideal conditions are not, we're the freaking hermits standing on the mountain going, we know our shit. We know where we've been. We know what we let go of. We know what's real and what's not real. We know we're in the middle of gaining the world. We're on a stable and solid foundation, but we know we're also trying to avoid chaos at all costs. And we're in a hostile fucking environment because we're stuck in our houses. When we leave, we have to wear a mask. Now we have the almighty vaccinations looming, right? All that crap is going on. And in addition to that, we're dealing with hostile weather. We've gotten through this past year, we've gotten through freaking locusts throughout Europe and Africa. And I think parts of Asia had locusts. Holy crap. Now there's flooding all over the world. There were wildfires. Why am I saying wildfires? Firefighters fighting fires is what I was trying to say. Firefighters fighting fires. Woo, say that 5 times fast. Like all over the world. I mean, like most of California seemed like it was freaking on fire for like a year almost, right? If you lived there, I'm sure you felt like that. Like, damn. I mean, wasn't the Bay Area like the sky was freaking red and orange? It must have looked like fucking hell for like 3 months recently. Like every single day the sky was not blue. I mean, that's crazy. We've gone through fucking murder hornets. I think killer bees, murder hornets, locusts, eating up everything. Droughts, famine, pestilence, disease. Literally, we're in the end of the fucking world right now. And this is how we view ourselves. We are the motherfucking Snow Queen, baby. We are the Queen of Swords, and we are standing in our power. And we know we have to be the leader for the people who are not even awake yet. And we know the ideal conditions are not freaking here, no. But we must continue on and go. And we're going to be okay. We really are. Because we're in this world of illusions. Look at the world card. We're there. Our higher self is saying, look, this is just what you're experiencing. But it's not really the real reality. But we know we have to go on. So we are like a warrior. We hold our sword. We're very solid and stable in who we are. We know who we are now. We're moving forward. So let's move forward to the next card. So how do other people see us? Well, we're there at the Three of Pentacles. So the unawakened ones are looking at us as if we are the Three of Pentacles. So let me look for this card here. I don't know. It's like I've got to find the Pentacle suit. I don't know where it is. So, all right, and that was Swords. Okay, found it. So in this card, it's a woman gathering up lilies from the lily pads, and little fairies are helping her. So it might be that the world is looking at us like we're having help from unseen sources and they don't get it. Like, how are we managing to survive and be okay during all the stuff that's going on? We must have unseen help from unseen forces, right? So, but this is what the card says. And then I'll make another assessment of what this means based on what the description is. Now is the time to call on the talents of others. You might have skill, but it's not enough to pull off what you want to create. You are going to need help from people who think and create differently than you. When you can build a team where everyone gets to play to their strengths, you will be unstoppable. Well, shit howdy. That sounds amazing, right? So, let me think. This is honestly the only pentacle in this whole reading is the Three of Pentacles. And 3 also is related to the High Priestess. It's related to things that we're creating. And it's related to the World card because that also adds up to 3. When you break down 2 and 1, 21 breaks down to 3. And also, the Hermit is 9, which is 3 times 3. That's like 3 squared, not squared, cubed. That's 3 cubed. It's 3 to the 3. Well, it's not 3 to the 3rd power, is it? No, it's not. It's actually 3 squared. It is squared. And square is what does Emperor sit on? A cube, which is a square. Anyway, it's a whole nother thing. I get really deep into the numbers and all this, how it all fits together. I just start to see a matrix and it's like, whoa. Okay, so the 3 of Pentacles. 3 also, if you are religious, the Holy Trinity. Father, Son, Holy Spirit. Or, 3 is also what happens when there's a bridge. The gap is bridged between 2 parties. So we have us, the awakened ones. We have them, the unawakened ones. And the third entity would be the bridge that fills the gap between us, that shortens the divide. That's also 3. So there's you and me, and then what do we have in common? That's that third entity that we bring together. And who we are when we're together is completely different than who we are alone or apart. So I think that the 3 of Pentacles shows that there's going to be a working with, a working together. And we're going to have to think differently if we are going to allow the unawakened ones into our realm and into our world. And we have to create a better world. We have to raise everyone's vibrations, not just ours, and screw the rest because they don't feel like waking up. They're the ones hitting the snooze button. No, we have to include everybody. So we need to create and include everybody and go slow. We have to walk towards the order, the harmony, rather than the chaos and the confusion, which we've already left behind. So we need to bring them into our fold. All right. So now, where are we going to go? The next card represents our hopes or fears, our desires, and where we want to be. This is also representative of the next 3 months. So between now and June, this is the card we got, which is the card 5, the Hierophant. So now we're back to Major Arcana again. Now I shuffled these cards like crazy, like for maybe like 45 minutes I shuffled these cards. And I can't believe how many, I've shuffled these a whole bunch of different times too, not just today. And how many Major Arcana came out is incredible. We got 1, 2, 3, 4. So 40% of this reading is Major Arcana. So that's pretty cool. All right, so here we go with the Hierophant, which pretty much is your higher self. You know, you are your higher self. You are writing your book of your life by becoming who you are in your most divine and perfect form. You are channeling your higher self in the next 3 months. You are going to be more in touch, more in tune. You know, the cool psychic human tricks that come along with that. I think we're going to get all that. It's pretty cool. This is a very beautiful picture, by the way. I'm going to put all these on my Instagram, which is at mermaidgirl888. So, all right, the Hierophant. This is what it says in the description. History is important. Like it or not, you are a product of your history and your ancestral history all rolled up into one. This is why the Hierophant always seems to have a quill in her hand and a book under her arm. It is her job to retell the stories that shaped the rules you now live by, and you liking them is not even close to being the point. Rules are in place for a reason. History has a very important lessons for you, or some very important lessons for you. Listen, read, and learn. So if in the next 3 months, what does that mean? Well, we're going to know what's going on in the next 3 months as far as world history right now. But I think we're rewriting our own story right now. And we're already deciphering what was, what we did believe, and what we let go and just let those bygones be bygones. What people try to put on us and what we took in and what we left behind. And then we got right with ourselves. And now we're rewriting our own story. And our own her story or his story is what we make of it in the next 3 months. Starting right now with this Two of Wands decision that leads right over to the Hierophant or channeling your higher self. What are you going to create? You have to get on with it. That says the Snow Queen, the Queen of Swords. She says, let's move on. And the Two of Wands is like, look, we've got the energy of creation itself behind us. What are we going to run with, create, and do, and be anew? Let's rewrite our own story. We know where things came from. We know where we came from, but we're right with everything now. We've thrown away the lies and the secrets of the past that we don't need anymore. And now we're focused on the fact that we are pieces of the great divine. We're looking to illuminate our path with our own divine light. That one just channeled right through me from God. Thank you, Prime Creator. Woo, that was a good one. So, where's it all leading 6 months from now if we do everything correctly? We're going to go to the Six of Wands. I think that's a fires and energy of creation. So let's see where we're at. As far as the Six of Wands is concerned, I look at this and it looks like it shows a person literally eating fire or breathing fire. And it's pretty intense. This is like a really intense card. It looks like honestly, it reminds me of Marshall Silver, who's a friend of mine. We have a soul connection somehow. And he's quite famous. He works in Vegas. And he teaches people to eat fire. He's a hypnotist. So this is what this card says. Risks and rewards seem to go hand in hand. The bigger the risk, the bigger the reward, but success can only happen when one's thoughts and actions are aligned. There's no place for doubt or disbelief in the victor's circle. Oh, damn. Snap, baby. So it looks like we have aligned ourselves over the past year. Everything's come full circle. And now we're walking forward with the energies and fire of creation just right there, side by side with us as we move forward in the direction of our dreams, towards that which is the light within. We show it without, meaning we're pulling it from within to show the world our creation. We will stand in the victor's circle in 6 months. By September, we're going to be in a much different position because we're channeling our higher self. We've already been standing on the top of the mountain showing our light, and now we're going to create something with that light, with a knowledge of who we are and complete acceptance, standing on a stability foundation, the foundation of strength and stability, and that has allowed us to go forth, avoid chaos and confusion, letting all those swords behind, and we're moving forward, and we're pulling other people in with us. We are accepting ourselves and accepting our fate, and we're also accepting other people with us versus saying, well, they're not really there, so whatever, we're going on anyway. Now we're like including everybody as we channel our higher self and we know our own true divine light. And by the way, the Six of Wands, 6 also relates to the Lover's card, which is also relating to possible relationships, just as a secondary thing. And also twin flames. Flame. I mean, this is a fire eater, literally eating a flame. Consuming the flame. And what did we just talk about? Integration or union of divine feminine and the divine masculine within. And it looks like in 6 months it's possible for some of us to have that without as well, in our outer world as well as our inner experience. We've come through a hell of a lot this past year. And here we are again. We're on the precipice of something absolutely great. So no longer lament all the shit we've been through. From now on, we're just going to go with the fires of creation within us. And we know that God is walking with us side by side, if not accepting fully that God is within us. That Christ light, that Christ consciousness, that higher self that we are channeling fully as we write our own histories. And we walk into the Six of Wands like, baby, we just won this. Mic drop. Here, I'll have to make a mic drop sound. There we go. Mic drop. Woo! There it is for Tarot Tuesday, baby. I hope you enjoyed this episode of Metaphysical Soul Speak, the podcast. I love you guys so much. Thank you for your continued support and your continued faith in myself, the show, and my abilities. I will be back tomorrow with all unique and original programming, just like always. I love you guys so much. Have another wonderful day or night. Be blessed. Stay blessed. You're always, always blessed because you are the world. Walk in your own divine light. You light your path with your divine light. Never forget that. I'm signing off now with peace and joy and the high vibes of the holy fifth dimension. Until next time, guys, peace. Metaphysical Soul Speak is run on sponsors and listener support. This means listeners like you. If you are so inclined to support my efforts and my little podcast, please visit me at anchor.fm/metaphysical and pledge an amount of your choosing today. Thank you.